Welcome and grand rising. As a speaker on the first Sunday of February, I get to introduce the theme of the month, which is divine discomfort, which points out life is full of uncomfortability, which ironically I stumble over that word because I'm not sure uncomfortability is a real word.
Yeah, it's not. It is now.
Working outside of my comfort zone this weekend. So I've sort of flushed out that paragraph that Peter just read. Okay, so back to life is full of uncomfortability. I'm thinking that birth itself is a movement from a warm, nurturing, fluid, and safe place to a brightly lit, cold, confusing place where if you are around my age or older, our first moments of life, you may have been slapped while hanging upside down. It's reality, it's possible. So February is also Black History Month in North America, and April or Rev may talk about this, but I'm just going to mention it briefly. All three of us will be exploring lessons learned from being uncomfortable and how putting down the need to be comfortable allows space for transformation. In later weeks, we consider the universal pain of exclusion and oppression and open ourselves to pull our vision of a world that works for everybody. And we end the month with recognizing that being uncomfortable is the least of our concerns because we have love work to do. So a very recent example of divine discomfort I know of is I have a friend that had a cold recently. And because they were sick and on meds, they were sleeping more soundly. So benefit of having a cold. And this person suffers from insomnia often. So now because of having a bad cold, they are getting more and deeper sleep, which leads to their brain fog clearing because they are not so tired. So how many of you can relate to this? Right? I lived in an apartment that overlooked Osborne Street. I was dizzy and couldn't form thoughts often because the traffic and snow plowing was so loud during the night that it was not allowed me to get a proper night of sleep. This prompted me to take action and buy a house. And it was actually from a lady who was a member here at this very center. And now I have great home equity. Yay, Safeway for plowing their parking lot at 4 a.m. and the city for plowing the street at 5 a.m. So, today's topic is about recognizing your own power and the potential for positive transformation when you embrace change, release limiting beliefs, cultivate awareness, engage in affirmative practices, seek support, and take inspiration. That's a lot of things. There are lessons to be learned on being uncomfortable. I've always been an early adapter. I bought my first computer in 1982. Some of my coworkers in IT weren't born yet at that point, but home computers weren't really a thing then. I learned Microsoft Word at the U of M in the spring of 1984. It had just been released the previous October. It has been 40 years I have been using this software, and 25 years I've been teaching it. So I call it early adopters. April calls it edge walking. Potato. How this came up, we were here last Thursday to work, and I was talking about this idea for this talk. The outline of the story for this talk is Harriet Tubman, who was a slave who ran away and went north to start the Underground Railway. So it's a long story, but I will talk about the lessons later. Anyway, I was talking about the fact that Harriet's story and slavery is not, it is, but it isn't our story. And I wanted to find what I find discomfortable. Maybe some of you don't. Inviting friends to Sunday service, or even sometimes bringing up the topic of science of mind to people that are close to us. Anybody relate? Well, Vivian, I thought you did that quite well, about science of mind with people. Okay. So April had an interesting perspective. She said that we are edge walkers and know how great this place is, and we want to protect it for ourselves as a safe place. As open-minded early adopters, we are often outside of others' comfort zones. So the ones that are concerned about us sometimes want to convince us that their box is the only safe box to be in. Anybody can relate to that? People try and get them in their box? So I found this teaching through books, actually. I had finished reading Conversations with God, which is a Neil Donald Walsh book. And I was Googling about his humanity group, and I wanted to see if there was a Winnipeg chapter. And I didn't find one, but I found the center. And the center back then had ads, if you like Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra. I don't think Oprah was on the list back then. But, so I jumped in with both feet, and voila, here we are 18 years later. Yep. And Neil Donald Walsh.
Yes.
I
You were
was
selling books and stuff, weren't you?
I was getting the volunteers together, and you volunteered. That's how Bev met us.
I won't.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So even before that, April was at lunch with girlfriends and described what she wanted spiritually. And one of the women said, I think I know a place that would fit that bill. Another Willa? So does anybody have any introduction stories they want to share? Introductions to this community? Okay, Vivian.
My girlfriend and I used to do Sunday walks, 10K every Sunday, and we would get different neighborhoods in the city. And we're walking down here and it says, do you like books? And Wayne Dyer. So I go, I'm here.
So there was a sign outside the sanctuary? On Valor Road.
I think it's in here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We still have.
So anybody else have Peter?
Just briefly, Joanne Woodley, a former practitioner here, invited me to the Zoom. It was COVID. We were just starting off COVID. And I got started on Zoom and was very happy to come to the center once the center reopened. But yeah, it was through Joanne. So yeah, speaking to others works.
Audrey, can you repeat it for the people on Zoom? Because sometimes I can't hear.
Peter's friends with Joanne, the practitioner, and she invited him to the Zoom meetings because it was COVID, and he was thrilled to come once we were live because he had experienced Zoom quite a few times. And Vivian was walking by with a girlfriend and saw a sign, if you like books and Wayne Dyer, and she was in, and like is too gentle of a word for Vivian and books. Candace.
I was just happening to be walking down Broadway and bumped into Ian Fraser, and he said, I bought a church and a hall and I'm starting a center. why don't you come? He gave me a pamphlet and I came and I've been coming ever since.
So Kadasi was walking down Broadway. Maybe there's something for signage here. Was walking down Broadway, and a current minister, Reverend Ian Fraser,
Yeah, that's right.
was there, and he was handing out pamphlets saying he had started a new center. And you've been coming here a lot of years. Yeah. So I think there's a commonality that we are all seekers and are willing to try new things out. And change can be uncomfortable. Vivian took the risk and books were enough of a lure. And now she's been an active member since. So change can be uncomfortable. Years ago, I was in a 4-week workshop that ended. When it ended, I talked about some big thing I was going to do. And one of the women in the workshop said, "I admire you. You are so brave. How do you have the confidence to do it?" And my reply was, okay, so I do the thing, and the outcome is A, or the outcome is B, or the outcome is C. Whichever way it ends up, I'll be okay. Right? So Karna Bliss, in her book Rise, writes, "Outside your comfort zone is the only place worth living." In Science of Mind, the discomfort of change highlights the importance of embracing conscious awareness, positive, not wishful thinking, that is based in principle and align our beliefs with the creative power of the universe. By embracing change with openness and releasing resistance, we can experience personal growth and create a more fulfilling life. I remember Sylvie telling a parable about believing in treatments. I'm going to paraphrase what she says, and I probably tell it more often than she does now. When I go to a restaurant and give my order to a waitress, I trust that she will take a message to the kitchen and come back with what I wanted. We all do that, right? If I can trust a waitress to bring me a meal I want, can I not trust Spirit to bring me what I want? Because God is unlimited power? So what is out of my comfort zone right now? Inviting people to Sunday service. I know. I know this because I have left to write the talk on Saturday afternoon, which is late for me, and I have been eating nonstop for hours. Could be like 5 pounds worth of food now. And as I write this paragraph, I started pacing. I couldn't even sit in the seat. Ugh. So, the gem of this idea started last month in a book I'm reading called Rebuild, which is written by a Catholic minister, Reverend Michael White. God, I geek out about the strangest things. He's a minister that got hired to a parish that had a lot of unwelcoming thoughts about people who were not one of us. So one of the things that he and his right-hand staff member, Tom Cochran, that actually helped write the book, did was try to move the mental thoughts so they could attract and keep visitors. So he came up with a 4-step process that got over 700 visitors through their doors in 1 year. So do you think I can find that in the book as I'm writing this? No, of course not. Not that it all applied, but I made my own version. So step number 1, see if you have a common interest. You know, law of attraction is becoming more and more easier topic to bring up these days. Oprah, Abraham Hicks, Brene Brown is somebody we quote a lot of here. Are they seeking at all? Lots of people aren't, which is fine. Give them an example how the law of attraction works for you, has worked for you. Talk about how our thoughts have creative power. They shape our perception, emotions, and experience. We emphasize the importance of continually directing our thoughts towards positive and empowering beliefs. I offered to explain how the law of attraction works if they want to know. That's how I get into the sciencey stuff. Or talk about Sylvia's ordering thoughts. Number 3, tell them how it feels, what it feels like to be connected to this community. Even if you come and don't think you can be friends with us, weirdos. Just know that we are a positive community that wants the best for you. And it's not toxic positivity, as we will also hold your hand and grieve with you if need be. So, this was one of his suggestions. Ask if there is something they would like prayed for and then do it. Either in front of them or say you will later. If they kind of want you to but don't know what to ask, health is always a good one. So, you would think that the person that has the most most discomfort would be the visitor. Like, why do I think it would be me? So my resistance can manifest as fear, doubt, or of not being accepted for who I really am. I have invited people that have come once and not come back again, and I've also invited people that have come and joined and been board members. So I'm well aware that my negative or limiting beliefs can create resistance to embrace new possibilities. And on the flip side, ultimately inviting someone, you are giving them the possibility of spiritual growth. They have a power in their conscious choice. I guess I need to release these limiting beliefs by challenging these negative thoughts and replacing them with positive and empowering beliefs that support your personal growth and transformation. So here are a few relevant quotes. The first is Ernest Holmes. I now declare that God is in every step of my pathway. Whatever needs to be done is done now by action of infinite mind. Every problem is now disappearing. I see God everywhere, and where God is, no evil endures. These are nice little snippets to put in treatments. Emmett Fox, change is the law of the universe. Without change, the world would not merely remain in a static state, but it would soon become stale and stagnant. Without change, there would be no progress, for change is the essence of betterment. Robert Allen, The 1 Minute Millionaire. I think some of us are aware of the book, but not the guy. But anyway, everything you want is just outside your comfort zone. So the Harriet Tubman story teaches us that often in our most uncomfortable and challenging moments, we find the strength to create change. The discomfort she experienced as an enslaved person propelled her to seek freedom, and doing so, she helped slaves pave the liberation of countless others. Her remarkable journey reminded us the power of resilience, determination, and the pursuit of better tomorrow. She was one of the founding people of the Underground Railway. So, can you be into surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who are also on a path to personal growth and transformation? Yes. Sounds delicious, doesn't it? Do you want that for your friends too?
Yes.
Seek out resources such as books, workshops, YouTube links, Facebook links that can act as guidance, inspiration, and tools to support your journey. And together, we can go further. So I'm going to close like I usually do with an affirmation. Repeat if you feel comfortable. If you don't, that's fine too. I expand beyond my comfort zone and trust in the goodness of the universe to support me. And so it is.